Hi, and welcome back to the camp. Before we get too far into this course, I want to show you a few basic tips on using the Lab Mac that's probably sitting in front of you right now. These tips will take about 5 minutes to demo, and you should try hard to remember them so that your Mac lab experience is smooth and as unfrustrating as possible. Here they are. First tip. Every time you sit down for a session with a Lab Mac, always press Command-Tab to check for any programs that the previous user left running on your machine. The only thing that you should see running is the Finder, represented by this icon. The Finder is the part of the Mac operating system that runs all the time so that you, the user, can locate, load, and save files and folders on your hard drive. The first thing you need to do before you start working is press Command-Tab and close any other programs that the idiot before you left running. You do this by clicking on their icons and then pressing Command-Q, one at a time. That way, they won't take up any system resources or CPU cycles. If you don't close them, you're going to be much more likely to have your computer crash when you're working with some of the massive resource-intensive audio programs we'll be using in this class. And believe me, the crash invariably happens at the worst time. Now, going along with this first tip, be sure that when you're done using an app on the Mac, you quit it properly so that the next person to use your machine doesn't think that you're the idiot. Here's the proper way to quit a Mac program. Be sure that the app's name is in the upper right of your menu bar. Choose Quit from the app's menu, text edit in this case, or if you're a Mac power user, you can just press Command-Q instead. Now, listen, if you're normally a Windows user, you need to be aware that Mac apps don't automatically close just because you closed the currently visible window. No, you have to quit almost all Mac programs with Command-Q or with the Quit menu item. Okay, next, opening programs. The normal way to open a program on a Mac is by releasing the mouse button while the cursor arrow is over its icon in the dock at the bottom of your screen. If the dock isn't visible, it'll pop up when you bring your cursor down to the very bottom of the screen. Okay, so what do you do if the app that you want to use isn't there on the dock? Well, to find an app that isn't in the dock, or actually any lost file of any kind, just press Command-Space to open up the Spotlight box at the upper right of your screen. Type in the name of what you want to find, and bingo, everything associated with that name will appear in the list just below the box, including the file that you want. Click on it, and it'll open. One of the first things you'll need to do in this class is create a new personal folder on the Mac's desktop. This is where you'll keep all your projects and other files. You create the folder like this. Click on the desktop and be sure that the word Finder is in the upper right of the menu bar. If you have a bunch of app windows open and you can't see the desktop, just pull them aside and then click on it. Now, right-click or control-click on the desktop and choose New Folder from the menu that pops up under your cursor. A new folder will automatically appear. You should be able to start typing the folder's title right away, but if you happen to click somewhere else on the desktop and the title area loses its editable state, just click once on the folder to be sure that it's selected, and then press the Return key to make the folder's title editable again. Type the new name, probably last name first initial, and press the Return key to set it. There. You've got a folder to save all your work in. Last, and maybe our most important tip today, your Mac has several ports that it uses to send and receive audio. In our lab, we have the built-in audio ports on the back of the computer, and we've got the higher quality audio ports on the M box beside the machine. Most of the time you'll want to use the M box because its audio hardware is better than the Mac's, and because it's the only way to hook up an external mic on the computer. In any case, you need to know how to switch. You should use the Audio MIDI Setup tool to change which port is currently active. You might be able to find it in the dock under the keyboard icon, or if you don't see it there, you can find it with Spotlight by simply typing in audio. In either case, when you do open it, be sure that the Audio Devices window is the one that's open, not the MIDI devices. In the audio window, you'll see all the audio ports listed in the left pane, so here's what you do. Click on the M box area of the left pane to select it and turn it blue. Then Control-click on the line to bring up the pop-up menu and choose all of these audio streams by releasing on each one in turn. Use this device for sound input, use this device for sound output, and finally, play alerts and sound effects through this device. Okay, that's enough for now. We've covered closing programs that other people have left running, properly closing your own programs that you've finished using, opening programs from the dock, or if you can't find them there, by using the Mac's Spotlight feature, creating a personal folder on the desktop, and finally, using the Audio MIDI Setup tool to choose which port you're going to use for sound input and output. Remember, these basic tips, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable using the Mac in this class. There are plenty more tips for using the Mac effectively in the online PDF titled Mac Survival Skills. Take some time to go over the hints on your own, and pretty soon you'll feel like a pro. They'll save you lots of time in the long run, and in this field, time really is money. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon in the camp.